Hi, I'm Dwayne Whitcomb, founder of FiddleQuest, and thank you for joining me for another video in the teacher training series. So I am focusing on level 1 teaching right now, and today I want to talk about the lesson flow. What does a typical lesson look like from start to finish, and how it breaks down into different parts? So the lesson flow for level 1 students is not too different from older students as well. When students come in, we have a little bit of a check-in time. I just find out how things are going. How was music this week? I try not to be judgmental about whether they practiced or not. I'll just simply say, hey, how did music go this week? And often there's confessionals from the parents about, we didn't get to practice, or we only had 2 practices, or something like that. And I like to get a reading from the students too about, the sense of whether they're having fun. And I use that opportunity also to remind the parents that just sitting down and playing music together without it necessarily being a formal practice session is a good use of time during the week. I'll also just maybe tell a story about something that happened that week. I want there to be a personal connection too. They're a big part of what motivates students and also makes my job more fun is simply having that personal connection with the student and with the parent. And so I might share something that had happened that week and see if they had anything interesting happen to them themselves. So after we do a check-in, I'll get the instruments tuned up, and I try to get the students as involved in tuning as possible, as early as possible. And often I'll get them ask them to get an electric tuner, one maybe that hooks onto the violin and just stays there. Those are really handy, or something that can be clipped on just during the lesson. But I get them involved in the tuning very early on, where they can see the needle moving on the tuner, and I can say, hey, is that above or below the note? So most kids actually, by the time that they're 2 or 3 lessons in, they understand the tuning concept and how to use the fine tuners. We don't mess with the pegs at that stage. If any of that needs to happen, I just handle that on my own and explain that this will happen when their hands get stronger. After we do the tuning, we'll get right into the review songs. So we'll go back over songs that they've done in the past, things that are assigned on their practice page as tunes to review. In level 1, because all of the songs are on the open notes, whether or not it was assigned to them as a review song, they'll be able to play along with things that they've done in the past, because they're practically all the same, open Gs, open Ds, open As. But it's nice to go over something that they are familiar with, and then after we've done a few minutes of review, we will go into the new songs. So I'll start them out by saying, hey, what recording do you think you want to use on this one? And sometimes they'll say go right away, and other times it's kind of an indication for them of how to me about their confidence level, and so many of the kids will just tell me right out, let's just do ready. And so I'll choose the recording that they suggest and let that play, and then essentially just sit back and watch. And then at that point, I can determine whether or not we should be playing together, or I need to fix something with their hand. It's just an opportunity for me to assess where they are while they're playing along with the recording. It's, more often than not, I can say, hey, I think you could play this at go, and then I'll have them play along with the go recording. After they've played it with the go recording, and if it's successful and all the repairs to their bow hand and bow arm are made, they're playing it in close to perfect rhythm, if not in rhythm, at least nearby. Then I will play the melody part on my own. Or rather, I'll play the melody part, not use the recording, and have them play along with me. And we'll make sure we can go through it once or twice. And after we've done that, we make a video. And that is the basic flow from review to looking at the new songs to success. Great, let's make a video. And the kids feel a sense of accomplishment, and then we move on to the new song. And so it gives a sense of being able to make progress within the curriculum when those videos are made. So after we've shot the video, at that point, depending on where we are within the lesson and kind of keeping an eye on the clock, it doesn't always work out that, oh, we've got 10 minutes to go and let's introduce the new song. But, in a best case scenario, we've shot the video and it's only, we're only maybe 10, 15 minutes into the lesson and I can introduce the next song. In level 1, it moves quickly. And so it's not unusual to be able to shoot at least one video, if not 2 videos in one lesson. And sometimes, I have to actually kind of work hard just to make sure we get, all of the things covered that the student has finished that week, because sometimes kids are moving quickly and they can do 3 songs in a week. And so you kind of have to use your judgment how you want to use your time, because of course they like getting the videos made, but if it's just difficult to get it dealt with within 30 minutes, you might say, hey, let's not worry about the video on this one, and we'll do the videos on the most recent one. I give a little reward to my students when they make a video where they get a thing called a FiddleBuck. It's a little coin that some local stores here in the town that I live, they honor these coins like they're real money, and so the kids get these coins when they make a video. So almost all of them are like, yes, I want my video. I don't care if we're running short on time. We're making a video because I want my FiddleBuck. So that is one of those things where I sometimes can spend practically an entire lesson just shooting videos. But it's not an ideal use of time, but for the kids it's very motivating. They're making progress. I don't need to spend too much time trying to fix things because they're getting the concepts. And as far as they're concerned, it was a great lesson because they were able to do all the things that they wanted to do. Make the videos, move on to new songs. In addition to sort of the basic lesson flow of, checking in, getting tuned, going over review songs, shooting videos, introducing new songs, there's a few other thoughts about what makes for a good lesson. And one of them is that there is a lot of music happening. So the more time that you spend where there's actual just a song playing and the kids are using their bow and they are playing along for the majority of the time, that is an ideal situation. Try to do as little talking as possible when you are demonstrating or when you're trying to kind of correct them. Try to do it always within the context of showing and playing along with me, and and keep the bow moving. And that is the better way of communicating the ideas that you have about holding the bow or playing in rhythm. So words less and definitely playing more. Another important idea is to keep things moving from song to song. Not spending too long on one song within a lesson is a good idea. The sense of progress, the sense of moving forward is a big component of kids feeling successful. And so we might be having trouble with a particular song, and where they're maybe having trouble counting out 8 bows of rainbows, where they have to do 8 bows on a D and then 8 bows on an A. So maybe I'll spend some time on that, and then I'll say, okay, let's go let's go work on this song now. Moving from song to song is, and that's where we can use the bonus songs as well to help out. We'll keep things fresh, and kids don't feel like they get stuck in quicksand, and which is a very demotivating thing for the kids. Another idea that I use with the younger students is have them show up a little bit early for the previous lesson so that they can sit in and observe. Ideally, it's somebody in like level 4 or 5 or 6, and that they can watch, and sometimes I'll even ask them to get out their fiddle and just join in, playing on a D string while the student is, playing on Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Getting them involved with other students is always helpful. They are motivated not only by their connection with the teacher, but they are also motivated by the connection that they have with the older kids. Having the older students stick around into the younger students' lesson and playing the melodies of level 1 or playing a melody that they're playing in level 3, having that older student stick around and using them as a sort of a teacher's aid is also very useful. It's good for everybody. It's good for the level 1 student. It's also good for the older student. One thing that happens with the younger ones is they can often get tired before the end of a 30-minute lesson. And at that point, it's always nice to have a few things that you can do in your back pocket. Probably the most important one is simply, one, being able to know before they get tired, to say, okay, now I want to play music with your mom, or I want to play music with your dad. Hopefully one of the parents, a parent came with the student to the lesson, and then the parent can be involved and the child can just sit back and observe. Another thing I like to do is sometimes just say, hey, I want to play a song for you now, and have them say, do you want a fast song or do you want a slow song? And I'll say, okay, now put your violin down, and I'm going to play this tune for you. And then I'll play them a song, and something ideally that I really enjoy, and because they know when I'm enjoying it, and all of a sudden they're kind of kicking back and not having to exert too much mental energy and just enjoying the song. Another idea is have the kids get up and stretch, and we'll just kind of stretch to the ceiling and hold it, even holding our instruments and try to touch the ceiling, touch the floor. Getting them moving around can sometimes help as well. Occasionally I'll play a song and I'll say, okay, now I want you to do, jumping jacks to rhythm of this song. So these are some of the ideas that you can use in a level 1 lesson. Everybody's going to have their own basic routine that works, and over time you'll get into a flow of how to run the lesson and just have all those little tricks and tools that you can in your back pocket that work well for young students, and how to keep the lesson moving along so kids at the end of the lesson felt like, wow, that was fun and I learned something. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you at another video.